Good evening, everybody, and welcome. This event, which started, 5-6 years ago, has turned into one of our, I would say, favorite events. And part of it is being able to connect with generations of people that have been part of the school. It's hard for me to imagine. I realized, since my wife reminded me, that you've been there 8 years. When are you coming home? No, that was a threat. I mean, it was. But the point was that it's been 8 years since I came here. It's been a terrific time, I think, for me personally. I think for the school, this has been a near challenge and a growth for us. And one of the areas, I think, where we have really excelled in the last 8 years or so has been in our kind of rebuilding of an academic program, or pardon me, the athletic program, that have been really one of the premier pieces of the school's history. And so the Athletic Hall of Fame is an opportunity to celebrate individual people and teams. In my life, I've had a lot of opportunities to be involved in athletics. I wasn't very good at them, but I was involved. Water boy, things like that. But my brothers were the athletes. It's disgusting. But anyway, the thing was that athletics reported to me for the 9 years that I was the dean of Hobart College, and Hobart has a very fine, excellent academic program. And of course, the great sport was lacrosse. I tell all the kids here it's the only sport that counts because you don't know how many lacrosse games I sat through in that stadium watching Syracuse cream us, but it's okay. But here's one of the things that I learned, having to hire coaches and work with them. I was just telling this story because it's one that I think of a lot. Our football program was okay. It was a Division III group. The guy that was the coach when I was there had been hired from one of the southern universities, and he was kind of an aggressive guy, and we were doing okay, but not great. And so I decided the terrible mistake. I decided to go to the locker room to have a chat with him, to encourage him to do a little better, be a little kinder, or whatever. Anyway, when I went in, he was throwing a helmet across the locker room and hit a kid in the head with it. And so I then proceeded to take him into what was his office and tell him that he was fired. I didn't think throwing helmets was probably the best way to be a great teacher, right? So, but I was confident when I fired him that I had the perfect replacement for him. But the guy that was the tennis coach was also the backfield coach for the team, and the nicest guy in the world. I loved the guy. So I walked across the campus the next day and I said, "You're going to be the football coach, and it's great. You're a great fellow," and so forth and so on. So he gets hired to be the football coach, and we don't win a football game. 1, 2, 3, bang, 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 we're out, done. So then I walked over to the locker room to see that locker room. And the kids were watching cartoons. They weren't watching football. They were watching cartoons on the TV, and he was watching tennis matches in his office. So I said to him, "I don't think this is working." All right, so the next thing was to go find somebody. It so happened that the head coach at Syracuse University was going to go and become the coach of the Patriots, who were then nobodies in the football world. But anyway, so his staff was dispersing, and they said to me, "There's this guy that was the coach up there. You got to go meet him." So I go up to meet him, and I go visit him at his office. And in front of his office, there is a block-long white Cadillac parked there with horns on the end of it. And I said, "This guy knows how to recruit. This guy has figured out recruiting." So I go in and I talk to him, and I hire him. He comes, and here's the great thing about it. When I observed him from my little seat back there, when we go to all the games and watch it, here's what I saw. I saw a guy who, when every play was over, when people came back to the bench, he went down that bench and he talked to every player on that bench, every key player. I saw this teacher. I saw this guy that would connect with people. He was a teacher. He was the best example of teaching that I saw. So I use it a lot because You know what this guy knew about all those kids? He knew their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their whatever. He knew the size of their shoes. He knew what their favorite color was. He knew everything about them. Did they chew gum on the left side or the right side or whatever? And they went to him to talk to him as if he were their father confessor, right? Who should I date? Where should I go? All this kind of stuff. And you know why that was important? Because at a certain point in a game, the difference between a great coach and not a great coach is you know who to play. Who do you put in now? And the only way that happens is if you know everything about the players that are there. There may be one kid on that team who at that point is the only person that could do what you need to do. If you're not a good coach, you don't know that. If you are a good coach, you do know that. So what I thought about him, and I talk a lot to the faculty about this, that's great teaching. That's what schools are all about. Winning and losing is part of the game of life. And it's great to win more than you lose, but what you learn from all of that, that's what schools are about. That's what we're about. And that is why tonight I'm welcoming you, because you represent, all of you that have been invited here, all of you that are the friends, you represent that. You represent the commitment, a passionate commitment to teaching kids how to do things well and to support them in doing that, whatever they do. And so we all, in that sense, become teachers. And tonight is a sharing, not about just about being a coach or being a player, it's about being a great teacher and a great learner. So I thank all of you, so many of you here tonight who have been honored before and have contributed so much to this school. Athletics is a critical part of what we do here, and we believe that we do athletics very well, and we do it very well because first and foremost, we do it as teachers and learners. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night and enjoy each other's company.